introducing yourself. First, your name, your related teaching experience, and your course, just very high level detail, high level introduction, and one word to describe your course, like one unique word. Okay, go ahead.
Introduce myself. My name is Miss Danner. I live in the United States, but I have traveled a lot and been to a lot of different countries. My degrees cover K-12, and I also teach at the university level. My passion in one word is responsive reading, meaning speed and comprehension. And I think that's why I want to do this. I want other students to understand how much they can gain on their reading and still understand.
Okay, so you call response reading and I call speed reading, and my son took a speed reading classes and he read really well after that class. So I was very impressed, and that's why we're collaborating with you for this particular course. Okay, go ahead and tell us what are you going to teach, why we should take your classes.
Well, wonderful. What I'd like to start out is I have a double major in special education reading and K-12. I also have 2 masters, and in my PhD, volumes of reading. And so my personal experience was I want to be more efficient. And so I started doing research. I started working with my students. And what I found is we have some habits we have when we first learn to read. We have to leave those habits when we want to start picking up our speed. Some people think they need to read slow or they're not going to get it all. We have to pick up the speed in order to get the meaning behind everything. There's things like reading in phrases, reading in groups. There's also the brain research, which would be fun for both you men that you talk about, and the way our eyes scan the paper. I also go into things that's called subvocalization and regression. We get in a habit of thinking we have to think back and reread, and we don't when we're trying to move forward in a higher level. We also think we have to read it in our head, and we don't. We actually look for main words. So what I found is I started gaining this passion of helping students, and that was in elementary ed, middle school, high school. Even my college students would be like, oh, no one ever taught me this. And so I became passionate about helping learners become better.
That's great. Yeah, I probably, if the time works out, I want to take your class and observe, because I don't read that fast, okay? Because English is not my first language. So yeah,
well,
great.
And yeah, and I also have taught at a Chinese immersion school and a Spanish immersion school too. And that's what I would find is they would ask if I would stay after school and help them gain in their reading too. So, yep, I'm excited. I want to share that with my students.
Yeah, it's for both native and non-native speakers you can teach, right?
Exactly, yes.
Thank you. And the first question will be for Ms. Dana about your method. What kind of method are you going to teach speed reading? Where there will be homework to your class? How fast can the kids read compared to before, before and after?
Okay. So what they're going to do is they are going to individually test themselves and see where their level is at. It is not about competitive in the class. It's about your own personal goal of raising your words per minute, of how fast your rate is. So number one, it's for your own personal goal. We will be there to help and collaborate, yes. And I'm going to have to go through each of the questions and make sure I'm doing that. Will there be homework? There has to be some homework. The reason is, the old saying is, practice makes perfect. We have to be able to practice that. You've got to be able to take the strategies I do and go try those and do those. Would it be a lot? No, it would just be a commitment to say, I will practice this week for 10 minutes. I will try it. I will see if there is a difference in what I'm doing. There was probably a couple of other questions inside that. Did I get them all?
Well, they ask the comparison before and after for individual student.
Okay, I cannot personally say what the gain would be because it is up to that individual to take the strategies I teach, put them into practice, and then they decide which strategy. I have many strategies. There's like 15, 20 strategies. They decide what is helping them best, and then they see what's helping their rate go up in their speed.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah. Then I think next question will be their question coming in for Miss Dana about will your class, I mean, we do a lot of PSAT, ACT, SAT, but were taking your class help my student improve the reading speed and comprehension for those tests as well?
Okay. So I've also had experience and worked for ETS, that's called Educational Testing Systems. And so when I worked for Educational Testing Systems, I would listen and would record and evaluate them and give them feedback. And so I'm very well aware of all the TOEFL, all of the testing and assessing they have to do. And so what that does is that puts that back on my list of how can I help you to do better, not only in assessments, but in your life, to become a lifetime reader that enjoys that reading and can read volumes of reading. Okay. And I'm making sure I'm answering all their questions.
Yeah, no, this is good. Yeah. So about that will help not only the standardized testing, but also become an avid reader.
Oh, absolutely helps in the standardized reading because you learn to get those major things and be able to still comprehend and get that. So it's a class that is real, and we interact, we help one another, we talk about our own goals of what we've made gains, and we start evaluating ourselves to say, oh, what can I reflect on? How did this help me to do better? Or did this one help me to do better? What will help me when I take the test? What will help me when I have a bit large textbook in a class in high school or college to read? And so they can decide which one is going to help them for that goal.
Very good.